Live. Hi, good evening, viewers. Hope you are all well and keeping safe. Tragically, Britain passed an unwelcome and tragic landmark this weekend, with over 10,000 people dying with the coronavirus. Many have asking as to what the final toll on our country will be. Our thoughts and prayers with their loved ones. Today's topic is a little different. I think this is the first time an association has taken a bold step, recognizing and discussing the issues our staffs are facing in this unprecedented time. Hence the name, employees are the heart of the business. The heart is central to the survival of human being. If our heart stops beating, we die. We know this, so we take good care of it. We exercise, we eat healthy, we avoid stress and ensure a well-balanced, happy life. At least this is what most of us love for. So what about the heart of a business? Where and what is the heart of a business? At Catering Association UK, we believe people are the heart of the business. After all, it is the people who go the extra mile to make it happen for us, or get in the way and stop it happening. Good evening, gentlemen.
Assalamualaikum.
Evening. Dear viewers, we have with us today Mohammed Musharraf Khan, EC member, Catering Association. Good evening, Musharraf.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good.
Sitting at home, eating and sleeping.
Good. I've got with me Shah Alom. Hello, good evening, Shah Alom.
Assalamualaikum, Shimu.
How are you?
Good, thank you. And Assalamualaikum to everyone. And good evening to Mike.
Evening, thank you.
Good. I've got with me Abul Kalam Chowdhury, Principal Solicitor, KC Solicitors. Good evening, Kalam.
Hi, Shimu. Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone.
Sure. Can you speak up loud, please? We can't hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Thank you.
Loud
Thank
and
you.
clear.
Yes, Mike, are we okay with our technical side today? People can hear us?
I believe we are. I've not had anything to give any reason that we're not able to be heard. So my fingers are crossed on this one.
Sure.
Firmly.
Yes, let me start with Musharraf. As you know, today's our subject is a little bit different to what we've been talking about last few live. The staff. Mr. Musharraf, can you please tell us the situation? Obviously, there are a lot of situations that everybody's facing. As a business owner, we are facing a lot of difficulties. The workers, they're facing a lot of difficulties, especially within our restaurant sectors, to do with staff staying. Normally what happens is, as we all know, it's just for the viewers I'm telling that, as you all know, that our restaurants have accommodation upstairs, and people stay upstairs and stuff like that, and on their off day they go home and wherever. Unfortunately for some workers, they don't have anybody, except not the close family, relatives and everybody here, but it's not something that you go and stay there for 1 week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So there are some people, we have calls and everything, that there are some people that is facing difficulties as the restaurant is closed due to the COVID-19. So Mr. Musharraf, what's your thought on that, please?
Well, my thought, that's, being in the Midlands here and working with a lot of restaurants and takeaways, if restaurants don't have accommodation, they are provided staff accommodation, which are known as staff houses, which are usually within a small vicinity within a restaurant of the place of work. I find it fairly foolish where a lot of restaurateurs would basically tell their employees to leave. It's just unheard of. Where does that mentality come from?
Sure. Yeah, go on.
If they're being paid on furlough, why should they let them go? Why should they be made redundant?
I understand. I totally understand, but obviously a little bit difficult within our industry, because obviously once it's furlough, you go home and stuff like that. You come back once the restaurant is open, or you call back. But what is happening once the restaurant is closed, everything's closed. So that some people are facing little difficult, as in to stay within the accommodation or stay upstairs. So this is what we're saying. It's not that it's a very minority that is having problem, because we did have a call. Shalom, do you want to say something on that?
Yes, thank you.
Shalom to this.
Thank you, Shimu. Welcome to everyone. Actually, COVID-19, when they started, lockdown started 3 weeks ago. So by Friday, before we locked down on Saturday, by Friday, we all know it's going to be locked down next day. So I personally, myself, I contact few people, which is involved with Catering Association. We got a lot of Catering Association in this country, UK at the moment. And I contact some people that what we can do on those situations. We can do something through social media, something like that. What can we help ourselves, or they help our staff we have? So I was talking to basically some people that contact each other through the phone, like you do. Make some phone calls to other members of the catering and get some way out it and share with everyone in the social media. From my point of view, in UK, actually, most of restaurants have the accommodation, and some restaurants don't have the accommodation. The restaurants who have the accommodation, at least we can provide them, say that look, we're not doing any trade at the moment, restaurant is closed, and whoever's doing takeaways only, whoever's not working, stay on the accommodation and feed yourself. There wouldn't be any problem instead of sacking the staff, from the job. I think it will be a good idea that we can keep the staff to live on our premises and feed them. Inshallah, I think inshallah in this country, inshallah, I'm going to tara upre rakya staff holde khawani tara kulu osubidha hoito na. যতটুকু আমরা ক্যাপাসিটি আছে আমরা যত ওনার হল আছেন ইউকে ইনশাআল্লাহ আল্লাহ এই তৌফিক দিবেন আমরা সকলকে। তো যতটুকু পারি তারারে উপরে রাখা রাখিয়া 2 অক্ট বা 3 অক্ট খাইবো তারা কোনো এখানে কেউরও কোনো লস হইতো না, আমরা কেউ কোনো হইতো না, আল্লাহ এই তৌফিক দিছে। তারারে জবলেস করা থাকে অ্যাটলিস্ট তারারে পারলে 2 দিন টেক পে সার্ভিস পার্ট টাইম কাম হিসেবে রাখিয়া তাকেও কাম জার্জির আন্ডারে যে যেন আসেন ওটা তা করতে পারলেও তার লাগি ইনাফ হেল্প হইল না। So even about this, I've been contact some people, but I never got feedback about this, and I never heard anything. So finally, I was talking to Shimu that how can I share this through the social media 2 weeks ago. Like I had myself some phone calls. Somebody called me. Mike, is it possible if your staff accommodation empty? I got some people wants to live on the accommodation and help these people. So আমি যতটুকু পারছি তারারে হেল্প করছি। আরো কোন লাগছে আমার ভালো আছে যে আমি আমার ফ্রেন্ড বন্ধু অন্যজনকে জিজ্ঞাসি তোমরা তারা accommodation খালি থাকলে কিছু মানুষের হেল্প করতে পারবে, পারছেন তাই করছেন। সো ওলা আমরা দেখি যদি প্রবলেম হয় আর আমরা সকলে হেল্প করি যারা রেকমেন্ডেশন আছে। বহুত মানুষ আমরা ইস্ট লন্ডন আছেন বর্তমানে জবলেস, তারা মেস হিসাবে থাকে, আমি জানি যতটুকু মেস করিয়া 5জন 6জন থাকে, বড় কষ্ট থাকে তারা। ওইও তারা থ্রুতে আমরা বেনিফিট পাইছি, যে সময় আমরা দরকার আমরা বেনিফিট পাইছি, তারা এই সিচুয়েশনে তারাও আমরা থেকে হেল্প পাইতো। যতটুকু যেহেতু দোকান যেন আছে আমরা পারি, যারা স্টাফ আছে যদিও স্টার্ট করে দিন তারা ফোন কল করে ফিরত আনিয়া অ্যাটলিস্ট তারা রেকমেন্ডেশনটা প্রোভাইড করতে পারলে খুব হেল্প হইব।
Sure.
আমি বলতাম কইতাম চাইতাম। Thank you very much for giving me a time to telling all this. Thank you, Shimu.
Thank you, Mohammed. Mohammed, did you hear what Mr. Alom said?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So basically, what I did was before I came on air, I spoke to Tofat Julbai. Tofat Julbai is from British Bangladesh Caterers Association. His views are exactly the same as ours. That there are some people. There are some people suffering, and they shouldn't be suffering. So BBC Catering Association, exactly BCA as well. I spoke to for Hadishan Tipu. They have got the same point of view as us at Caterers Association UK here, saying that they shouldn't be suffering. There are some other issues that some other people has brought us into this equation regarding they had a lot of problem with staff before they start and everything. Obviously, this is not the time to discuss about that. At this moment is that basically whoever can help, let's help each other and get this over with this this time, what we're talking about, the unprecedented time.
Basically, the point that we're trying to put across to every single person is listen to this live or when they can listen to this is whoever has accommodation and whoever we feel that is virtually on the street,
Yes.
people should help them.
Yes. Okay.
You know, whoever
Definitely.
is in a situation that they haven't got a shelter over their head, and they have sacrificed for this restaurant sector, they should get in contact with either any of us on this platform, and if we can put an accommodation over the roof, inshallah, let's try and help them.
Sure, sure. No problem. Obviously, look, in this time, everybody's have the same point of view as us, but obviously, unfortunately, there are some people who are suffering at this moment, and everybody's there to help. Mr. Abul Kalam Chowdhury, can I have a little thought from you regarding that? I know you're from a different sector and everything, but obviously, as from the as a people's point of view, human being point of view, please enlighten us with your points.
Thank you very much. Actually, this is a very interesting point, and this is a very serious point. I mean, you have raised and you are discussing. To be honest, why we are going to discuss these issues? Because this should not be an issue. Because these workers, they made a lot of work for the restaurant, they made millionaires. And now this is the time they are suffering, and you are simply saying that you are kicked out from the premises because I'm not making money. This is not something we should discuss about it. This is a beyond, imagination that in the 21st century, we are discussing these issues because, to be honest, I'm running a small farm, and at the beginning of March, I got 6 or 7 employees. At the beginning of March, my cash flow has gone down rapidly, and what I had to do, I had to inject some cash in my business account. I spoke to my accountant, and he said, well, in order to pay off your employees' wages, it was mid-March. I said, how I'm going to cope with this? And he said, you can borrow some money and put the money in the bank account, and then you can, later on, you can, as a loan. Fortunately, I got the furlough options from the government, and government saying that they will pay 80%. Thank you very much to President and government, particularly in this current situation. So I was really, struggling to run from the beginning of March because of the cash flow. Now, the situation is that because what is my point of view, I have been running this farm quite a long period of time, and the staff has been serving me, and they are so dedicated, and that's why I didn't mind to put some money from my personal account to inject the money in my business account to boost the account so that I can pay off the money, because it's for the time being, for a couple of months, maybe 3 months or 4 months, because I need this stuff. So I don't understand why some of the restaurateurs, well, to be honest, loyal employees, chefs, waiters, whatever other position, other employees, they are the dedicated staffs, and they are making money. So why you don't take the advantage of furlough for the time being? Why are you not providing accommodation? Because in this country we have seen lots of hotels, and actually from London Mayor also said that there are rough sleeper in the London, and the hotels providing accommodations for the time being. So why, as an employer, you are putting your employees in in the awkward positions. So actually, I believe that our humanity should, we should consider our humanity, and we should, think about themselves, and we should take necessary steps to ensure that they are in a better positions. At least the brother Musharraf said, or Alom Bhai said, why we don't put the accommodation. I'm not worried about the accommodation. What I'm worried about, these are the employees. They have been living in the accommodation. Why don't take the option of furlough? Pay off them 80% from the government and 20% from your pocket, because it's for the time being. They need to survive. You know. Half an hour ago, I got a telephone call from one of my clients. She called me and she said, well, she has been working for temporary basis for a company. Now the company said you have to go for unpaid holiday. I said, well, why don't you approach your employer to go for, because if she went to the unpaid holiday, then she cannot survive and the benefit will not give any money to her. So these are the situations. Every employer, no matter how big you are or how small you are, you have to think yourself, you have to think themselves as well, the employees who are making money for your business for over the period of time.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Abul Kalam Chowdhury. I just want to say something that basically most of the restaurants are helping with the situation with the staff and everything. It's the minority that are not, and we hope that after today's program that we can convince these people that if the restaurant is closed, if the staff don't have anywhere to go, let them stay within the premises. They'll look after your premises, and it's the time of need. Everybody needs to help each other.
Yeah,
that's right. Also, Kalam touched on the 80% salary for the staff. This is something coming live very soon. And Mike, tell us about the 80% furlough scheme. That if the viewers want to know that, there are some questions. If the takeaway or restaurant is open, can they put half of it on furlough and half to run the restaurant? Yep. So Mike, the question was basically regards the Mr. Kalam Chowdhury had the issue of the payroll as an 80% salary for the staff from the government. Yeah. Can you please tell the viewers that probably there are some people who want to know that if the half of the staff are kept to run the takeaways, can they put the half on furlough?
So absolutely, you don't have to put all of your staff onto furlough to qualify. What I would say is just be careful as to which staff members you are leaving working and those that you're putting onto furlough, because bear in mind, we've spoken there a bit about the top up of the 20%, but there's no onus on employers to do that, and a lot aren't that we're experiencing at the moment in time. So in that grand scheme of things, you could have a mismatch of a group of people that are getting paid 100% and a group of people that are getting paid 80%. And it's making sure that whatever selection process you're going through with that is done in a fair and transparent way. But you don't have to have, all your staff on furlough. You can have a proportion of your staff doing takeaways at the moment in time, which a lot of companies are doing right now. I think it's worth also just to put it for the employers specifically right now, with this particular message, I think it's really important to remember that from that 80%, obviously it goes up to the maximum of the 2,500. But, from that, you've also got the employer's national insurance on that. You've also got the employer's pension contribution as part of that too. That goes on top of that 2,500. So in the grand scheme of things, you could have a payroll, if you've got all your staff furloughed, for example, and they're all on 80% and they all fall within those parameters, you're going to get that money back as long as you meet all those criteria, the 3 weeks minimum furlough period, et cetera, et cetera. That will all come back. That's going to have a net zero impact on you and your business. You may have some wages to pay between now and then. I get that. But in the long term here, and we're not talking about a long term in a long period of time, we're talking about the end of April, you'll start to see some of that money come back. The portal is going to open on the 20th of April, which is next week. That's a week away. So you can start putting those claims in. There is no excuse not to put people onto furlough because literally it doesn't impact you, but it does impact your staff.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. I just wanted to share your view with the viewers that basically this 80% is non-refundable. You don't have to pay back to the government. Yes.
100%. It's a scheme. It's a grant. So you don't have to give that money back. I mean, obviously, you know, in the long term, I'm sure to cover the expense of everything the government are doing, we may see some changes to some tax and tax increases here or there. But this money in particular doesn't have to be paid back.
Okay. So basically what it is, the staff, whatever they have been paid, they've got a pay slip there. So they've got paid this month, this much. So out of that amount, 80% will be paid by the government if they go on furlough. Yes?
Yes. And so it does depend. So, I mean, with the 80%, it depends on whether you've got people who are working irregular hours or whether they're working a standard amount of hours per week. But I think the key thing behind all of this is making sure that when you've got people on furlough, if you've got them staying in accommodation, and that's above a restaurant, they're not working. That's the key thing. Other than that, there's no reason to take those people out of that accommodation. And that 80% of that salary that you're paying is completely has to be covered by this grant.
No problem. Yes, Mr. Alom, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Shimu. আমি solicitor Kalam by Kalam by যেটা কইছেন 80%, obviously আমরা accommodation provide করিয়া we should staff and get them 80% paid. আমরা জাননা, আপনারা জাননা, all you guys know that আমরা restaurant there was people with no paperwork. So basically they stuck middle of nowhere. So একসময় আমরা রেস্টুরেন্টে রাখলে আমরা একটা বেনিফিট রাখছি সময় হলো, তো তারাও যাতে কোনো ধরনের থাকার খাওয়ার সুবিধা পায়, বুঝছেন না খান ভাই, আমি কিতা কইতাছিলাম ও হেল্প তো পাইতো, খালি আমরা পেপার ওয়ার্ক আছে 80%, এরা তো অবভিয়াসলি লিগ্যাল বলতে পাইবো, বুঝছেন। তো আরো আছে আমরা 15,000 বেঙ্গলি আছেন এই দেশে উইদাউট পেপার লিভিং ইন ইউকে।
Basically, what we're talking about is the vulnerable people within the restaurant sector or anywhere, any sectors. I mean, mainly because we're the Catering Association, the people that are vulnerable, they don't have anywhere to go and stuff like that. So these sort of people, obviously, they'll get their 80% from the government, and also, you know, what Mr. Alom is trying to say, that, you know, give them the accommodation and everything. We understand that, and I hope that we, through Catering Association today, we are giving out this message that, look, what we need to do is that do the right thing at this time of the need. So, Mr. Khan, yeah, please say something on the 80% salary. Do you have any questions, or do you want to talk to Mike about it? Anything that you want to say towards that?
No, it's fairly transparent, you know. So
the reason I asked that question to you is that because there are another issues that one or two have spoken to us or called us, but we have assured them that the scheme hasn't started yet. It will start, I mean, as far as I know, last week, Mr. Kalam, the accountant, has told us that it's going to be from the 20th of April. So after that, the employer will put all the details onto the system so that the government can pay accordingly. So the system is not up and running yet, but some question arises that the rest, because they're told to go home by the employer, would they get that salary, the 80%?
This is the another important, yeah.
Khan bhai?
yeah, of course they would. As long as the employee have wrote to them to say they're on furlough, then obviously, of course they would. If they've been sent home and they have got a school to go to, they're entitled to that payment.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's not that they're having the letters or anything. Basically, there are a lot of staffs that they don't know what furlough is, or furlough exists or not. So basically, isn't it our duty to let them know that, look, you guys are going home, you're furloughed, you're going to get 80% salary. As soon as we get that, we'll pass it on to you.
Well, there is still time up until, as long as the furlough, the COVID-19 commenced from 11th of March. Am I right, Mark?
17th.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, my key to this is that the legal responsibility falls to you as the business owner. That's where the legal responsibility falls to, and you need to make sure that you're doing things in the right way with your staff. I think what we're talking about here is also, correct me if I'm wrong, but the proportion of staff that fall through the gap who maybe for whatever reason are not on the payroll, or those that don't have contracts, or those that the employers haven't followed these processes for to actually follow them, but have sent them home on unpaid leave or whatever it is that they've done. And it's those individuals that are falling through the gap. I think that's what we're talking about, isn't it?
It is. Basically, what I want to say is that is the owners. I mean, there are a lot of staff that unfortunately they've got language barrier. They don't understand English and stuff like that. They don't understand the law as well, as in when it comes to follow and laying and stuff like that. So what I want to say is that is the owner's responsibility to tell the staff that you're furloughed, because as a staff he won't know if he's furloughed or he's been sent home for good. Do you understand? So that's what I'm trying to say. It's the owner's responsibility. Mr. Khan, do you want to add something to that?
Well, if the owners send them home with the P45, that means they're being made redundant. If the employee say to them, staff, go home, here's your furlough letter. Right. Don't worry, your money is safe. We will still be paying you.
That's
but
right.
On the other hand, if they give a P45 and say, here you go home, it means they haven't got a job.
No, that's fine.
Right. It's now been running 3 weeks into this COVID-19.
Nearly 4 weeks.
And there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of speculation on furlough. A lot of employees would have known by now, because the accountants who do their payroll would have advised them already by now, look guys, get your employees on furlough from the 11th of March, should they have been on the books, prior to 28th of February. But there's another topic as well, this platform would open next week. A lot of business owners who are paying business rates, they've already taken advantage of the grant scheme, which has been disposed by the government, either 10,000 or 25,000, depending on their rateable value. Anyway, that's not the conversation for today. The conversation today is basically about employees who should understand what furlough is. If they don't, they need to be approaching people like us, like Catering Association, where we can put them towards the right direction, or they should be contacting their accountants, should the accountants not have been in touch with them. Keep naming.
So the message from you, Caterers Association UK, if there is some staff are not clear or they're having problem getting this 80% salary, they should contact Caterers Association.
They should contact us directly via email. They have our phone numbers. The platform's open on the Facebook page. Send us a message. We will put them in the right direction. Or in any event, if they require any other assistance on the grant scheme or any other scheme, Mike is on hand through HR. We are here to advise them and to help them and put them in the right direction. No one should be made to feel vulnerable while we're here.
Sure. I want to add to that. Basically, Catering Association or Caterers Association, there are associations out there, but obviously this is not only representing, Catering Association is not representing the business only, it's representing the whole industry with the staff as well. So please do not hesitate. If you've got any issues, do contact with us, do get touch with us, and we will do whatever is necessary for you. Mr. Chowdhury.
Right. Actually, I would like to add some point. Actually, I've been in contact with the HMRC last Thursday. They're asking me to provide the list of employees, those are in, they sent an email actually directly to my office email, and they said, give the list of employees, those are currently on furlough, and also provide their telephone number. So to be honest, the employee's telephone number, HMRC is collecting now to verify whether they are in furlough. Well, there are some rumors. Actually, I heard a couple of people complain that some people are making lists and approaching the accountant to put adding the number of list. to put them on furlough. Well, it is not possible because HMRC already clearly stated, 28 February, up until 28 February, people, those are on a list, they will get it. Now, problem here, Mike already, explained that 80% you will get from the government, and 20% is not mandatory. You have to give it. But if you are very happy, if you are generous, then you should. But there is an option available. You will get it from the government. Then my question is that why you should not take advantage of it. Now, second question is that if anyone said their restaurant business is really struggling, I will not say. I will say other businesses are also struggling, because Musharraf Bhai already said that most of the majority of the restaurant that already got 25,000 or 10,000. Now, self-employed restaurant business or company, those running, they are getting 80% of the 3 months. Now, you got the furlough employees. So there is lots of advantage. So they are not up from my point of view. Well, everyone is suffering, but particularly restaurant owners, restaurant business are less suffering. So they should, extend their hand, not, towards their employees. It's very simple. And I think Musharraf Bhai and Alom Bhai very clearly, made it clear that they should come forward and they should provide this. Then another point I would like to make, that some employees, actually, they contacted me personally. They said, well, Mr. Chowdhury, I don't know whether my employer said, well, I should not go to work from tomorrow. But I said, well, why about the furlough? He said, well, I know, maybe he is claiming 80% on behalf of me, but I don't know that. So how we can come across it? There is lots of mistrust. It's going on, Shimu, to be honest, because some of the employees, they believe that my employer is claiming, but he is not giving me. So how we can overcome this situation? I know there is two restaurants that, don't be annoyed with my point, but to be honest, some of the employees, they contacted me and they raised this concern. So I simply stated to them, look, you got two options. Approach your employer and ask him whether he will put you on furlough, or he already made it clear that you are on furlough. If not, then alternative, ask him to give you P45 so that you can go to the, universal credit, what the government stated that. So this is the situation now. So it's furlough and everything in the employer's hand, and the employer hand is stronger than employee's hand. So there's lots of things employer can do. So, and they have to make it clear to the employees. And you stated that majority of the employees, those we are talking about, they have lack of proficiency in English language, lack of understanding. So this is the restaurateur who should extend their hand, who should come forward.
I think, Kalam, yes, you're right. But obviously, the issue that you just brought up regarding the mistrust and everything, I think it's more to do with understanding, because obviously this is very, I don't want to say it, but obviously it comes up because there are a lot of people, a lot of us, that we do not understand what furlough is, even the restaurant owners. So basically, it's not that they're claiming and they're not paying their staff. It's nothing like that.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that, but there are some concern has been raised, a number of people.
It's the staff. So basically, they're at home. They're thinking, "Oh, I'm hearing 80%. Am I going to get it? This, that, blah, blah." All I will say to you is, contact your employer.
That's true.
Because look, there is an opportunity. Look, the 80% the government has put in place. So why don't we take this advantage? Yeah. Pay this stuff, 80%, keep them, because you need them tomorrow, Mr. Khan.
Definitely, that's the true reality of it. How are you going to open a restaurant tomorrow when the lockdown is lifted?
We will need all this stuff in the future again.
You need everyone back. And Kalam Bhai, I can understand where he's coming from. A lot of employees have raised the concern. If our employees get paid, how about if we don't get paid? At the end of the day, they have to get paid. Yeah. It's a criminal offense for employees to keep that payment.
Yeah.
It's a criminal offense.
Yeah. Don't be angry on me, because
let me tell you another thing.
That's why we have a lawyer on the screen.
Kalam Bhai, let me tell you another thing similar to your cases. Yeah, I know it's a different matter. Like you're saying, is is the employers are getting paid or not, but the owners are claiming those 8%, but employers are not sure is the owner going to tell him or not. Same thing happening on the property management estate agent. The house owner doesn't know is he getting the rent or not.
Right,
but the
right.
management service, they are telling everyone they're not getting the rent.
Right.
But there's another everything that people are taking advantage. You know,
Okay, Alom bhai, you know, this is...
I had a phone call that saying that the estate agent said to me, "Oh, we're not getting any rent from the tenancies, so I don't know what I'm going to do." So there's another problem. I don't know is it true the tenancy paid or not?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's like
I'm going to be leaving this conference in about a minute, but just before I leave, this is a conversation for our next agenda. Payment holidays. Everyone in the UK is entitled to a payment holiday, regardless of the mortgage, loan, payment, whatever. Any FCA regulated business in the UK has to give a payment holiday.
Right.
So if a rent has not come in, we as a landlord, or you as a landlord, are already entitled to a payment holiday. So no one is losing out. So I suggest everyone listening to this, make sure you get your payment holidays in place. May it be a credit card payment or may it be a mortgage payment. Take advantage of it. Look after yourself before you spend your cash.
Right. I understand what you're saying, absolutely right. But staff confused, owner claim as an owner, he's confused. Is the tenancy paying actually the rent or not?
Yeah.
Same things going on the property management business also.
Yeah. No, we do understand. Alom bhai, we do understand where you're coming from and everything. Yes, unfortunately, some people are...
What's your name, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no.
But we'll have this conversation another day. But let me just to summarize the topic of today. Everyone listening to this here, we are Caterers Association. Should anyone be on the street, restaurants have let their employees go, and if anyone is needed of any help, please get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's all I would say.
Sure.
We are here to help.
No problem. So, Mr. Khan will be leaving us now. So I would say, Mr. Khan, thank you for joining us. And obviously, we will convey the message that anybody needs any help with any situation that they're facing regards to accommodation, regards to their 80% salary scheme from the government, to contact with Caterers Association UK. Yeah.
Even I know a lot of people have been confused with the grant schemes where the authorities have written to them. I mean, there's every single business owner in the UK should have received a letter from the government for the grant for the business rates.
Right.
If anyone is confused in order to fill in an application, the application process is ever so simple. It's step-by-step information on the website. You're talking a maximum between 3 to 6 minutes in completing. I wouldn't encourage anyone to pay someone a fee to fill this application in, because, don't do it. You know, if someone is in need of help, we can assist them through this conversation. The system application is very, very simple.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Mr. Khan. Sorry, go on.
Mike, love to meet you. Kalam bhai, nice to see you. Alom bhai, I'll speak to you tomorrow morning. Yeah, take care.
Take care. All the best.
Yes, Mr. Khan is obviously is looking after his family there, so he needs to go for some reason. But we'll be finishing very shortly here. So basically, the program that we are doing today is to do with the staff thing. But on the other hand, Alom bhai, I'm going to talk to you on this one, because on the other hand, staff, they have some responsibility as well, isn't it? We obviously, I don't want to bring this up. The reason I brought this up is that basically we want to be fair with the restaurant owners and as well. So basically, staff has some responsibilities as well. Like, you know, there are situations that staff were misbehaving, because there was shortage of staff and everything like that. So look, it's a saying that what goes around comes around. So please, where you're working, be humble, be good with your owners and everything, you know, because look, now the situation is reversed. 2 months before, it's the other way around, because the owners, they couldn't find any staff, and staff were misbehaving and stuff like that. So my request to everybody is, like, you know, be humble to everybody and try to not take the advantage of the situation. What I want to do is we're going to go for the final thoughts on from everybody. I'll start with you, Mike. Please, just final point of view on the HR issues. Gone.
So there's two key points from listening to what everyone's been having to say there that I just really want to sum up on. And the first one is and I think I've said this already on a previous program we've done, but there's two key core aspects to any business, regardless of the sector, and that's your people and your revenues. And if you don't have the people, you don't have the revenues. So the people in your business are so critical and crucial, not just to now, but when this ends, there will be, after the winter, there is a spring, and you will come back out of this, and you will need those staff to be able to help you to come out of this. If you don't treat your staff in a good way and well, they won't be there when you need them. So it's a I scratch your back, you scratch mine situation scenario. And the second point that's really, really critical here is, and I think we've already touched on this today about obviously HMRC collecting telephone numbers, et cetera, et cetera. They have already said throughout the whole of this process on everything that absolutely they are going to, if there's any question marks or if there's any concerns that there's any fraud that's taken place or businesses claiming money for the furlough but not passing that on to their staff, they have the right to audit everything. So these people will come across, it's not worth the risk in your business to do this. A, because it'll impact you on the long run with your staff, and B, because HMRC, they will find out and they won't let it go. That's one thing I think we know for fact. They won't let that go. So I think it's a case of, look, let's help everybody out. Everybody's in the same situation. This is a humanitarian issue, not so much a business issue in that sense. It's about doing what's right as a human being for other people and not leaving people destitute and out of a home in their hour of need. Your point, this is when it's for the business owners to come to the fore and rise and put themselves when their staff need them most. And I think they'll respect you more for doing that. And that's really the key thing I think I went on today.
100% agree on that. Alom bhai, I want to thank you first for calling me on this issue regarding the staff and the salary and everything that we discussed today. Final thoughts from
you. Shimu bhai, to do this program with you guys, and thank you, Mike, also to giving me a time also, and Kalam bhai, nice to meet you also. Thank you very much to everyone who was watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Kalam.
Yeah.
Firstly, thank you for coming for such a short notice. Please round things up now. We're finishing off now, so just round it up for me, please.
Well, to be honest, I agree with Mike. I mean, we should use everything, every resource, but not to abuse it. Well, it's not only money matter, but also, I mean, when it's come to deal with your staff, then you should deal with your staff humanly. I mean, the staffs, those are making money for you over a period of time, and for unfortunate circumstances, you should not kick out them from the premises. And I believe majority of the restaurants are not. They are providing their wages. And I got a couple of friends and family members, those are involved with this restaurant business. And to be honest, I mean, all of them are looking after their employees, providing, I mean, facilities, accommodations, even they are providing, wages from their pocket. Some of the employees are not entitled for wages from the government, as you know, as we discussed, and they are providing financial aid to these people as well. So I believe majority of them, doing this, and a tiny minority of the peoples, what we are discussing today. And I believe from our discussion, there will be output, there will be some concern. I mean, people will get benefit out of it. And again, I will say we should use everything. We should not abuse it. And thank you, Shimu, to bringing us together and give the platform to discuss this issue.
Thank you. Yes, so finally, I want to say that, look, the subject that we raised today, it's due to some calls that we received, due to, how should I put it, is that, look, majority of the people, just everything, they're treating their staff really good. I know that I've got loads of friends who are in the restaurant trade and they do treat their staff really good. It's the minority. There's a small, very, very small numbers who are giving our industry a bad name. What I would request everybody that falls into that category, that this is a time that we need to be all together. This is a time that we never face, and inshallah we'll never face again, because this is an unprecedented time. And at this time, if you help anyone, I'm sure you'll get your reward. And look, we didn't want to, our program is to help people, not hurt anybody. So we are not saying anything to anybody directly. It's just do the right thing. Thank you very much for joining us, and we shall see you again. Thank you. Good night.